for the reason that we're here. Those who still want to continue to speak with the candidates and candidates vice versa with supporters, we will get, as soon as we're done here, we'll go through a little process and you can pick up where we left off here. We'll probably all be heading out into the bar there afterwards, so please join us. With that being said, I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Eric. This is our first shot at this, and the reason that we're doing this is because we have determined that not a lot of our young people are involved enough in our city right now. Politically, investment-wise, living, business, philanthropy, politics. So what I wanted to do was introduce our group. We're about 6 months old. We're called the Allentown Young Professionals, and you'll see a lot of our young people in here. And these are the people that are showing up, and these are the people with the energy and passion that we need to be involved in our city, because this is the future. And the sooner they're involved, and the sooner that they become part of this process, the better off we are. And it doesn't hurt for our city to be a little bit younger at this point either. So, with that being said, I thank you again. I'd like to thank some of the young professional members, Louis Holtzman, Dan Freed, Lauren Smith, who have taken a lot of time putting this together. So I'm really glad. I'll be switching off mics here. But again, thank you. What we're going to do right now, and again, I want our young men and women to meet the leaders of our community. And I want the community leaders to meet young men and women with the passion and energy that will be the future of this city. So please intermingle, talk, network, whatever you need to do. I think this sort of thing is we will do again. The format tonight is not a town hall. The format tonight is not a debate. This is a meet and greet. And I want to give everybody who's had the opportunity or taken the opportunity to come here and address our young men and women. We'll give you about 2 minutes or so if you would to go through. But we're not, any questions that our membership wants to do, you please walk up to any of the candidates when we're done here and ask them to address it. But we're not going to have audience participation as far as this part goes. We may do that in the future, but that's not what this is tonight. We're getting our political side of our group involved with tonight's gathering. So I thank everyone for coming here, and hopefully you will find this as you'll find this beneficial for everyone. So our group, again, here with you guys. Do not let it end here, afterwards, in the future. All right, so what we're going to do is 2 minutes for each candidate. Now I'm going to ask the candidates, and I know everyone's busy. So what I'm going to ask the candidates right now, because we have, how many candidates do we have here? 14, 16? We got 16 candidates here. So I know we're busy. And I know that if you have something to do and got to run, go ahead and do it. But if you don't, do me a favor, respect the other candidates and stay here and listen to what they have to say also. I don't want our last speaker here being the only candidate in the room. So if you don't mind, stick around and we'll do that. So if we don't mind, right now we're going to get going. We'll have one at a time. We'll start down here. We'll start with Sam, since you're in the first part, and here you can wrestle with this microphone.
And as long as my sign doesn't fall down again.
Well, I didn't want to tell you this, but please don't post any signs or walls. I hope it falls down.
Of course, Courtney was the only one that thought to bring that down. Thank you so much. Now, what's our limit here?
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I mean, space-wise. Can I go a little forward? We have to stand behind this?
Yes.
I'm breaking it in for everybody else, okay? Hi, I'm Siobhan Sam Bennett, running for mayor of Allentown. If you don't know yet, mark your calendar, May 16th, 2017. As most of you well know, this is my 3rd time running for mayor. I ran in 2001, was honored to be recruited by a group of Republicans and Democrats back then, lost by 46 votes to Roy. He was a 20-year political incumbent. Ran again in 2005, came in 2nd to our current mayor, Ed Pawlowski, and then ran for U.S. Congress in 2008, was the most endorsed challenger in the country in 2008 when I ran for Congress, and now running for mayor in 2017. I would just like to say what a gorgeous contrast between previous municipal races. I am very honored to run with such a wonderful group of men. Yes, I'm the only woman running for mayor.
No, you're not.
Oh, yes, you're running now, that's right. So I'm not alone, I have company, wonderful. And why this is good is because with such a rich, broad field of candidates, we can excite the city, re-engage the city in political discourse so we can move the city forward. And as I say to voters, here's the trick. We have a lot of terrific people running. Ray O'Connell was my daughter's principal at Trexler Middle School. Charlie and I are neighbors, you know, where we live. All good men, all, and my fellow lone candidate. But here's the challenge. The voters have got to pick the mayor who is the best qualified for this moment in our city's history. And I would present, I only have 2 minutes and I'm going to finish up now, that I'm running because I feel deeply that I am that candidate at this particular moment. So we're asking our voters to hire essentially their next CEO of the city. And so it is about what we each bring. And 2 things I bring that no other candidate brings at this time is that in order for our extraordinary NIS zone to keep moving forward, a gift, we're the only one in the city that has, in the state of Pennsylvania, that has this NIS zone. We need someone who currently, day one, has a positive working relationship with our current governor and past governors. Governor Wolf was a very strong contributor to my race for U.S. Congress. We have an ongoing relationship. And number 2, we need someone that day one has got the proven executive experience to carry the city forward. I've been a business owner and a businesswoman here in Allentown for 30 years. I've been a national CEO, and in everything I've put my time into, I've been a regional, state, and national groundbreaker and record setter. Now, we've had some other good people, well-intentioned people that have been mayor in the past. My good friend Roy Offenbach. But he didn't go well when he was mayor. Why? He didn't have that executive experience. So I present myself here, honored to be with my wonderful colleagues, honored to be with you tonight, and would very much hope to earn your vote. Thank you so much.
We'll go to this side here now. Siegel for mayor, and speaking for Mr. Siegel is Kate.
My name is Kate Walshko. I happen to be Josh Siegel's fiance. Unfortunately, had to step out for a bit today, so I'll be talking on his behalf in this regard. And so I'm going to thank Mark again. I think it's very appropriate that we have a young professionals, meet and greet event in order to be able to meet candidates and so forth. I think I want to start off by saying that, as a fellow young person, as my fiance is a millennial, there are a number of struggles and issues that we, our generation, have to go through. Number 1, student loan debt. That is a great hindrance on entrepreneurship, homeownership, and many other, attainable things that we want in life, but, are very difficult to do so now, especially in this type of economy. So what we are bringing to you is someone who not only understands what is, going on in the greater scheme of things, but someone who is living them, who is experiencing them. And now more than ever, cities have an obligation, but in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, have the power and authority to do and to have incredible change and a very positive impact on young people's lives. For instance, we are going through a sort of change in the economy. Automation is taking over. There will be, I think, approximately 40% of jobs that are currently available will be automated by 2050. So we are facing some type of phenomenon that has never been seen before. We need to start thinking in terms of, a broader vision of what Allentown can be. Start, implementing into the creative economy, taking the best and the brightest from our city and from attracting others. We want the Lehigh Valley to be another Silicon Valley. We have the space, we have the room, we have the people. We just need someone in power who is supportive and, a community effort and able to make that happen. This can be done through incubation zones. I know that we already have one down in the south side of Allentown. Let's build on that. We can have co-working spaces. We want to support the next tech startup and someone who can also not so much think, act locally, but think globally. And Josh is very fortunate to be able to study in Russia and other international economies. And this isn't just a matter of thinking just in the city of Allentown, but thinking in the Lehigh Valley itself. If the entire county, the entire region are benefiting, it's a residual benefit. We all can do something great with this new plan moving forward economically. Yeah, so just to end, I think that is great to someone who not only is in power, who again understands, what young people are going through, but has a concrete vision, concrete plans, and concrete policies to make that all work. That works better. So again, thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop.
Thank you, Kate. Charlie Thiel's representative. Megan.
Thank you, first of all, for the Allentown Young Professionals for having this event tonight. My name is Megan Smigo Sylvia, and I am a Lehigh Valley native and have worked in downtown Allentown for over 12 years. But you're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about Charlie Thiel, who would have loved to be here, but unfortunately he had a board meeting for the school district of Allentown. I met Charlie on the Allentown Chamber of Commerce, and it was very clear to me immediately how passionate he was about the city. Not just because his family lives here, but also because of how many things that he supports on different boards and also community service activities that he does. Charlie is a natural collaborator. He bridges the relationship between the business community and the school districts. A good example of this is on the Allentown Chamber Board. He developed a permanent position for the Allentown School District Administrator to be on the board, cross-pollinating the relationship in between business community and school districts to make sure that we both hear each other's voice. Charlie really sees the big picture, and he really can make all stakeholders work together. But what does he stand for? I'd like to go over 4 of his key priority areas. Number 1, safe and clean neighborhoods. He'll work together with neighborhood groups to crack down on absentee landlords and develop a affordable housing plan. Number 2, improving public safety. He wants to ensure that public workers such as firefighters and emergency personnel, including like myself, I'm a first responder, and different other public safety workers, to make sure that they have the support and the resources that they need. Number 3, honest government and fair taxes. He will create a productive relationship with the city council and ensure that the tax dollars are spent wisely. And finally, number 4, jobs and opportunities. He'll ensure that the economic development is extended to not just the downtown, but to all areas of Allentown. In closing, I really hope that I've developed a solid platform and foundation for Charlie Thiel and why I think he is the best candidate for running for mayor. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for coming, and please know that your vote really does make a difference in the future of Allentown. Thank you.
Eugene McDuffie. That's you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay. How are you? How are you? My name is Eugene McDuffie. I'm ready for City Council for the City of Allentown. I am a graduate of, I went to college at Kaplan, studied psychology with a concentration in substance and alcohol abuse. I am also a minister. I've lived in the City of Allentown for over close to 40 years. I am also the founder of Youth in Action now. I also am, I serve on the Human Relations Commission as vice chair. I also do all the gang prevention stuff in all the schools with the kids. I said all that to tell you this. Let me tell you why that I decided to run for city council. Every day I work with young people who are very concerned about how come the city of Allentown are not doing anything about the drug problem, the homeless problem. There's still a lot of things that are happening in the streets. And if people seem to be out of touch when it comes to the youth. it comes to working. So I told the kids, one of the kids I spoke with said, Eugene, we really want you to try and go ahead. And I prayed about it and stuff. And I said, okay, I'm going to run for city council. But now let me really tell you the real reason why, especially Allentown young professionals, why I'm running for city council. You know why that is? If Trump can run for president, Eugene McDuffie can run for Allentown. I don't know how else to tell you. I really don't. I'm running. I believe in transparency. I believe that if people are gonna be on council and serve in the city, I believe they need to be part of the city. I don't believe they need to be residing out of the city. I think they need to be out there in touch with what's happening with the kids, what's happening with the gang members, what's happening. I think I want to take an active role if I am so fortunate to be involved in council, to do something to get council connected to the homeless, the youth, domestic violence, and all these things. I think we need to be part of that. I think we need to be part of that healing process. I'm concerned about housing, fair housing, not just for some people, but for all people. I'm concerned about what's happening with the families being going back over to because of this law that just passed. And so, most of all, I'm a voice for the people. I have a heart for the people. And one thing is I'm real, and I'm done. All right? Thank you so much.
That's a tough act to follow. Good job. Again, I'd like to thank Mark Smith and the young professionals. I think many of the young professionals I had in school at one time or another. A little bit about me, if you don't know me, but most people know me. But I echo what Sam says. We have a good group of running this year, and we all care about the city deeply, or there wouldn't be 7 Democrats or 8 Democrats and 3 Republicans. A little bit about myself. I worked for the Allentown School District for 38 years. I was a teacher, assistant principal, assistant to the superintendent, and I ended my career as executive director of secondary education. 38 years with the school district, never missed a day of work. Never missed a day of work. So my commitment and my dedication to anything that I do is there, obviously. 8 years on city council. I was elected to my first term on city council in 2009, served 4 years. I was re-elected in 2013, so I'm on city council 8 years. The last 3 years, I'm the president of Allentown City Council. Obviously, I do have government and leadership experience. That being said, being a public servant for 46 years, I want to continue my public service to the community. Allentown is being revitalized. We've heard that often. I have many platform positions. I want to talk about 2 today. Being an educator and now seeing city government, it's very important that we build a strong relationship with the Allentown School District. We need to grow our own. So many kids go through a system and they leave. We need to create a pipeline for situations for our students to become police officers, firefighters, paramedics, by starting a co-op program that we had in the Allentown School District years ago. They go to school half a day as a senior. They're interested in police work, firefighters work, paramedics. Go down, meet with those people, work with those people, learn it. Hook up with Del Tri-C to see if we can send some of those students on to a criminal justice associate's degree. Also, we need to increase after-school programs to ensure that all students from all parts of the city have access to quality and good after-school things. We cannot close our schools at 4 o'clock. Our schools need to be community-based schools. There's a program out there called School-Based Revitalization Program, where new schools, Allentown School District is going to build a new school at 12th and Gordon Elementary. They're thinking they're going to build a new middle school, probably no site to be determined. What we need to do is, we need to ensure that when we build those schools, we develop economics around that school, playgrounds, parks, so they don't have to go from 4th and Chew to the destination playground out at Hamilton or not. We need to bring back the neighborhood school and build economic development around that school. Also, wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
You were 4.2 117. Oh my God. Economic development. Affordable housing through the use of inclusionary zoning, the new residential developments throughout the city, jobs, encourage and provide incentives for businesses to give Allentown people, first shot at being hired. It's called first source hiring, you know that. And participation for all residents to be involved in the decision making and affects their local neighborhood. Thank you, good night. Vote for Allentown on May 16th.
I like that.
I knew he was going to be the toughest with it.
I know your money.
Very open beer.
I know everything you know, sir. I know.
Julio Guerrero.
Julio.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you to the young professionals. My name is Julio Guerrero. Came to this country about 42 years ago. I always lived here, never lived in New York, New Jersey, anywhere else. I lived right here. And I've been part of this community. I went to college here, I learned English. I didn't know a word in English when I came here 40 years ago, when at the age of 15. But I found a family here. My immediate family lives in Florida. I stay here. I had my own business. I had a travel agency for 13 years. I was a banker for Bank of America. I was a vice president of Bank of America. I worked with the Delaware River Joint Toll Bridge Commission, and I've been a city council member for 16 years. I probably, if you talk about experience, it reminds me of Ronald Reagan. I have experience on government. I'm running for re-election, and I agree with everything that Mr. O'Connell said earlier. I was president of City Council for 3 years. I was vice president for 5 years. And when I came into council, the city was very different than what it looks like today. Okay, I was president during the time when we started the redevelopment of the city. It was tough because we had a big hole on the ground and on 7th and Hamilton, and we turned around. Some people out of the city were laughing at us. Now they want to come to the city. We're bringing people back to the city. We have a lot of development to create thousands of jobs, billions of dollars of development, and we want to do more. And I want to stay in council because I think we have to spread the wealth. Some of the things that have been happening in Center City, we want to spread it to the rest of the communities in Allentown. We have a changing community. We are blessed that we have a very diverse community. I think, is my time up?
I've got 10 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds. Okay. He always does that. But in all seriousness, I want to make sure that we provide to our community what we didn't have a chance to have when I came to this community. And I want to make sure that we leave this community a better place to live, work, and play for the future generation, including you millennials, you children, and everybody else to come. So thank you very much. And I ask for your support.
Matt Hyman.
Good evening. I'm Nat Hyman, and I am perhaps the only person here who had no intention for running for any office. But I was born and raised here in Allentown, and I raised my two daughters here in Allentown. And the reason I decided to run for mayor is because what should be Allentown's finest hour with the NIS is mired in dysfunction and scandal, and it's an unfortunate cloud that's hanging over Allentown. I think the NIS is at a precarious spot right now. It could either be something fantastic, or it could slip back and not meet the potential that it could have been. I think with Talon potentially moving out, we don't know what's going on with that, with one developer who's really building most of the NIS, and 5 years have, for the most part, passed, so there's only 25 years left. We need to maximize the NIS benefits. But I want to agree with something that Sam said, although she left. Running the city is like running a $100 million business. And nothing prepares you to be a CEO like being a CEO. I spent my whole life in business. I started with one store and grew it into a 104 store national chain, including stores in London and Canada and Puerto Rico. I then started a real estate business here in Allentown called Hyman Properties, and we now own and develop over 1 million square feet outside the NIS into affordable housing. So we do that. We probably have about 600 apartments, have invested about $40 million in areas outside the NIS in downtown Allentown. And a lot of people don't know that. And we hope to get to about 1,000 apartments. We've done all of that without any government incentive, assistance, or tax benefit. So all those folks who preach about affordable housing, affordable housing, affordable housing, it can be done. And we have done it. And I believe we're the only company who has done it. So when you talk about business experience and being a CEO and running a $100 million business like the city of Allentown, I think my history shows over the last 30 years that I've been able to grow, manage, operate, and build large multi-million dollar businesses based here in Allentown. Okay, finally, I just want to tell you a couple of reasons why I'm running for mayor. A, the kids. We have to get together with the education, crime, after-school activities, youth organizations, and make an environment that fosters education, ambition, and a positive reinforcement for our kids. Crime. Our streets have to be safe. If people aren't comfortable walking around the streets, we have no city. Finally, we have to maximize the NIS benefits and get more developers in here building, but also build outside the NIS, not just affordable housing, but all sorts of things. I will leave you with this one thought. This is not a popularity contest. This is not a beauty contest. This is who is best equipped to run the city. So I would ask you this. If you inherited a large business and wanted to hire a CEO, which candidate do you think would do the best job for you running that business?
Good question.
That's the person you should vote for, whether it be me or anybody else, because running this city is a business, and anything else to the contrary is just a deception. Thanks very much, and I hope you choose to support me.
Good point.
I don't know, is anybody else in this room that's in a lawsuit with Donald Trump besides Nat? Anyway, I thought we're in a lawsuit with him. Anyway. Erica Bickford.
Good evening. My name is Reverend Everett E. Bickford, also known as Erica Bickford, but also known as Apples the Clown Bickford. But anyway, I'm the only candidate that really has any experience in city management. There's a big difference between corporate management, nonprofit management, and city management. When I was your age, some of you young business people, I was the first executive aide, the first executive director of the first North Hudson Regional Council of Mayors in the United States. I served proudly for 3 to 4 years, working under him and learning from some of the most talented politicians and city mayors in the United States. I know more about city management than most out there. In 2006, the city of Allentown, the citizens came to me and said, the mayor's canceling the Halloween parade. And we were told, he said you could save it, and I did. I legally own the rights to the oldest Halloween parade in America. I've worked with the poor. I've been involved with communities 57 years this year. I started when I was 11 years old, going out and trying to get a scout window in a local store like Hess's was. So I've been out there. What the city does need is the equal taxation, number one, of our properties. And if we would just cut back to the charter, we need to do a charter study. And I've gone to council about this, Ray, you know that a year ago or so. We need to go back and do a charter study. Either that or get back the city to the charter the way it was written. We would save enough money if we got back to running the charter to hire enough police officers and firemen to make the city safe and safe again. I mean, I talked to a certain mayor about 2 years ago, and I said, you know, Ed, we need more firemen, and if we did this, fires are down, we don't need more fires. Crime is down, we don't need more policemen. We need more policemen. Darrell knows that. Darrell knows that too well. You know, I've served on the Weed and Seed Committee here. I helped build the Weed and Seed program for 5 years, served on the Social Ministry Program Commission here. And so I just want to thank you and know that I may be Apples the Clown, the official city clown of Allentown, but no joking around, I'm the only one that knows more about city management. Thank you.
David Jones?
Okay, I got 2 minutes, and for a preacher, that's a little bit of time. Let me tell you a little bit, first and foremost, about who I am. I'm a son of the city, born and raised here in the city of Allentown. I lived where they had the first gentrification, where they moved everybody out the first time. I grew up on the south side. I met my wife in this city. I've been married for 31 years. I met my wife when I was 11 years old. We've raised 5 kids together in this city. Like most young people in the urban core, I've had my challenges on the streets in the city and been able to overcome. That's important for somebody seeking to be mayor to understand. Now, what do I do? And what do I bring to this office of mayor? Nate, I'm sorry to disagree with you, but my 10 years of governance experience tells me that government and business are not the same. The role of government is to facilitate the greater good that the individual alone can't or won't do. I've spent 12 years in the corporate world as a global director for a large Fortune 300 company. I'm Avery Dennison. I bring over 25 years of leadership experience in business, nonprofit, and in government to this. And here's the deal. What this election is about, make no doubt about it, it's about the future of this city and where are we going to be, not just next year, not just 2 years from now, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. You can check out our website, David Jones for Mayor. We've got a strong economic plan on how to help this city recover, how to create jobs for our urban core. The downtown is nice. I love the downtown. I love the wings at Bell Hall. Monday nights, $5 for 10. Can't beat that. But a downtown alone. But a downtown alone can't revitalize the city. We need a microeconomic strategy to create living wage jobs so that the folks in the urban core can prosper along with the rest of the people in the city. I'm your man. Check out our website, David Jones for Mayor.
I'll put my man Jay's wings up to anybody else who has them. Darrell.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you to the young professionals. I'm Darrell Hendricks. I'm currently Vice President of Allentown City Council. I am a lifelong resident of the city of Allentown. I was born and raised here 63 years ago. I am the proud father of 2 sons and 3 grandchildren, all of who have gone to Allentown schools, as I have, and live in the city at this current time. I'm most proud of being on council, and what I've done is, in conjunction with our city clerk, we have moved city council into the 21st century by streaming live our council meetings. And this is part of my campaign to continue with open and honest government. Along with the Planning Commission and many other boards of the city, you can now stay in the comfort of your home. If the weather's bad, you can watch our council meetings live and observe your government in action. I currently chair Public Safety Committee. I am a retired police officer in the city. I've spent approximately over 40 years as a public servant, and that's all I've ever known. So I am not a politician, I'm a public servant. and I would appreciate your support so that I can continue. What I think we need most is open and honest government. And unfortunately, right now, there's a cloud over the city, and I'm going to continue working hard to remove that. I would also add that I am not endorsed by our mayor. Thank you very much.
Jeff Frazier.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Thank you for having this great event this evening. My name is Jeff Glazier. I am running for controller. It's not the top of the marquee office, but it's a very important one to make sure that the city operates the way it's supposed to for its stakeholders. A little bit about myself, born and raised in Allentown. My wife and I are both Allen High graduates. My 3 sons are all Allen High graduates. When their friends fled to the suburbs, we stayed in Allentown because we believed in Allentown, and we're still here. I have a small business downtown, Glazier's Furniture. It's the 3rd generation, and I'm very proud that we've been part of Allentown for such a long time. The controller does 2 major things. One, we audit, we look at all expenditures. Any accounts payable check that goes out, my office reviews it every Friday. If that check isn't right, it doesn't go out the door. So we keep our eye on that. The other thing we'll do, the other major thing we do, is we'll audit programs. For instance, Allentown has a major fleet. So it's a $5 or $6 million expenditure every year. We're in the midst of completing the first ever audit of the fleet. And we'll make that report known in probably within a week or so. And we also audit other things like contract receivables, and we look at the golf course. We want to make sure that city government is running right for all our stakeholders. Not a high-profile job, but a very important one to see that our money is spent properly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Melissa Pavlik.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melissa Pavlak, and I'd first like to say thank you for having this event. And I say for your first time having an event, this is wonderful, absolutely fabulous. What a great showing, and what a wonderful place to have such an event as well. Great dinner, good brisket too. So my name is Melissa Pavlak, and I am an attorney in Allentown. I have my office at 19th and Allen. I've been in Allentown as a lawyer for 25 years with my business. But I am a lifelong resident of Lehigh County. I'm a Parkland graduate, and I have raised my family in Lehigh County. I'm running for judge in Lehigh County. I do only family law work, which means that I work in divorce, custody, and support. And up until about 20 years ago, Lehigh County had specific divisions of the court. We had a family court, we had a civil court, and we had a criminal court. 20 years ago, the family and civil court were blended together. We now have a criminal court, and then we have family and civil blended together. When you look at the makeup of the court, there are 10 judges. And when you look at the makeup of the court and the way the cases are allocated between the judges, it's heavy loaded between criminal and civil cases, and lower loaded on the family court, on the family cases. However, the family cases are the most cases that are filed each year. So there's less attention being paid to the most important cases and the highest volume of cases that are filed in the court. I want to bring back the family court. I want to do only family law cases. I want to help the children go through the most difficult process so that they don't end up over in the criminal court as they grow older. So I'm looking for your support on May 16th for Judge of Lehigh County Court of Common Pleas. I thank you very much.
Courtney Robinson. Right at 2 minutes. Courtney Robinson, by the way, is a member of our Allentown Young Professionals.
Thank you, Mark, and I'll try to be quick because I'm afraid Mark's going to take me down with a flying tackle if I go a few seconds over. So, first of all, thank you to everyone for coming out tonight. This is one of the few forums that we are going to have where we've got more people than candidates. So it's an important thing to see, and I appreciate all of you being here. As I said, my name is Courtney Robinson. I am running for the 2-year seat on Allentown City Council. There are 5 seats available this year. 4 are for 4-year. And because Jeff was appointed controller last year while he was on council, 1 seat is for a 2-year term to finish his unexpired term, and that is what I'm running for. Just to give you a little background on who I am. I'm a lifelong resident of the area. I grew up in Parkland as well, Melissa. And I've lived in the city now for about 8 years. It'll be actually 8 years in June. And I've been involved in the community for about 15 years in Allentown. I've had the privilege of working with some great and committed public servants, like Mike Schlossberg, Pete Schweier, Jennifer Mann, and many others. Some of the ones you've heard from tonight as well. So we have a great history of public service in this city, and it's an honor to be a small part of that. Touching on what I think some of the most important issues facing us moving forward are, my number 1 issue, something that I think is important, is blighted property, and doing a better job at addressing blighted property. You know, this isn't my first time being a part of this. As Mark said, I've been part of this group, I've been coming to the meetings. A lot of us are in the same position. My girlfriend and I are in the process of purchasing our first home. A lot of you here either want to purchase your first home or looking for investment properties in the city, as well as having a home in the city. Having blighted properties in our neighborhood is the number 1 drain on property values and the number 1 drain on livability in the neighborhoods. Fighting blighted property and addressing these properties is the quickest and best way to improve the livability of our neighborhoods and to improve our property values. But as a part of that, we also have to have a community which is engaged, a community which is livable. As Ray said about the parks, Allentown has a great park system, and every candidate who's ever run has talked about how it's the jewel of the city. Well, unfortunately, over the last few years, we've let that jewel become tarnished. A lot of our parks are in disrepair. The Stevens Park issue was a horrible one. It took years to get that park redeveloped. We need to do a better job at our park system because it's something that's good for our kids, but it's also something that's good for all of us to have that livable space. So you will all hear more from me over the next coming months. You'll see more of me, as always, so I apologize for that. But I would just ask that you consider, if you are a registered Democrat in the city, please sign my petition to get me on the ballot. We need 100 signatures. And thank you very much. And Mark, thank you. And Louis, thank you. And everyone else for putting this event together.
Joseph Basrari. Oh boy, that's the best I could do, man, sorry.
Hi, my name is Joseph Basrari. I'm running for mayor of Allentown, Pennsylvania as a libertarian, which is a little bit different from what most people are used to. Born and raised here in Allentown, Pennsylvania. My parents and I and cousins, aunts, we've always been involved with community some way or another. Whether that is going to community events, serving food to the homeless, donating our time or our money or even clothes to different organizations around Allentown. And you know, this city has done so much for me that I think it's about time that I should do something for the city, do something for you, the people. Now, I know this is for a younger, the younger audience of Allentown, which I mean, I'm part of. But I think one of the biggest concerns that we have is education, crime, and what is the next generation of Allentownians and Americans going to experience here in Allentown? Education right now is an absolute mess in Allentown. I think what we need to do is make sure that our school board is doing what they can for what's best for the students and what's best for the next generation of Allentown, and not for their own best interests, not for what we used to be, but what we are going to be. Another thing is crime. Why is crime? I mean, people say it's decreasing, but I haven't seen much of a difference. Personally, I mean, I live on Gordon Street in Allentown, and I'm right 5 minutes away from here. there's been, especially on my block, a lot of crime happening. We need to have a lot of education. Education is the biggest thing that we need to have when it comes to the next generation of Allentonians, is to decrease crime by educating them, saying how doing these things are not going to make you any better of a person. It's going to hurt, our community. So I appreciate your time listening. Thank you.
Ken Haffentrigger.
Thank you. My name is Ken Haffentrigger. I am not born and raised here. I was born in Quakertown, raised in Percy, but I lived 24 of my adult years here in the city of Allentown. Most of you know that I have operated the Allentown Tenant Association for the past 5 years, in which we have helped thousands upon thousands of residents in the city of Allentown. A lot of homeowners, I got this just the other day, asked, why if I have a homeowner want to vote for you? Simply, the number one issue though we actually take on is not really the laws per se of the Landlord-Tenant Act, because that is steadfast. It's cut and dry and clear. We educate renters, yes, but we attack blight. You just heard it from Courtney. It really is the number one key issue in this city. You clear up blight, you will reduce the illegal dumping, you will reduce crime because there'll be more eyes out there. And I'm not talking about just in the upside Allentown area. See, blight under this current mayor has proliferated. That's flat out. We have documented more than 400 blighted properties in this city, with 360 of them in Center City alone. The 10th Ward, which is left out of every single plan, has 92 of them. The 8th Ward, left out of every single plan, has 83 of them. 150 blighted properties in just 2 wards. And they're the 2 wards that we continuously do not focus on. We focus on a small portion of them. Jordan Heights area is partially the 10th Ward. But you go above Tillman Street, and it's like no man's land in the 10th Ward above there. For people who do not know the 10th Ward, that is 7th Street to the river, the northern border to, I believe it's actually Gordon Street when it comes all the way down. I also operate the 10th Ward North Neighborhood Association, as we felt the need to get a neighborhood group involved there to try to get people in the 10th Ward involved, because you know what? They feel neglected, they feel like they're left out. The 8th Ward has a group. We're hoping to get people to back that group, run that group, and we will gladly actually move to another section of the city that needs a neighborhood group. I think we need a major focus on neighborhood groups. And that's why I asked you to sign my petition and put me on for the 4-year term on City Council. Thank you.
Ed Zocco. Ed, by the way, was the first one here tonight. And the last one to speak. It's a good thing. Been a long night so far.
It's a good thing I wasn't sitting back there drinking all day.
Matter of perspective.
When I left, my wife said, "Oh no, not the Don Johnson look again." I said, "Hey, it works. Don't worry about it." My name is Ed Zuckel. I am 59 years old. I've lived in Allentown for the past 31 years. I raised my family here. My 3 children are products of the Allentown School District, so I would have to disagree with you, Mr. Boswa. The school district is a good district. It's how you raise your children. I was a police officer in the city of Allentown for 24 years, just retired last April. And in those 24 years, I'm one of 3 people in the city of Allentown that I can say I never missed a day's work. I'm also a deputy coroner in Lehigh County for the past 23 years. When I retired in April of this past year, obviously I'm too young to sit around, so I applied for a job at the Allentown School District, and I currently work at Jefferson Elementary as a security guard. And as Mr. McDuffie would agree with me, if you've ever worked with children, it's probably the greatest job in the world. When I was a police officer, I obviously was out on the road, and I would talk to people because I like to interact. And I always heard this complaint: nobody cares about what I think. Well, that's not necessarily true, but sometimes you have to go about it the right way. One of my goals is to bring unity back within the community and city government. I mean, I know you read the same newspaper I read, and folks, we got some problems that we gotta fix. If you remember during the budget talks, one of the biggest things was the homeroom charter. That was adopted back in 1996, and I don't believe there's been any repair to it since. And that's one of the biggest things that was a stumbling block for this year's budget. So I think that we need to address that issue. I am a registered Democrat, but let me tell you this, folks, I represent the Democrats, the Republicans, the Independents, and those that haven't decided yet. Because when you're someone in office, you need to represent everybody. So please vote for me on May 16th, and I'm Ed Zuckel. And if you have Republican friends, tell them to write me in. Thank you, good night.
Bonilla.
Good evening. I'd like to begin by thanking the young professionals for hosting us here tonight. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Basilio Bonilla. I used to serve on the Bethlehem School Board, where I served for 4 years. During my time on the Bethlehem School Board, I had the honor of serving on many committees, from the Finance Committee to the Curriculum Committee, Facilities Committee, HR Committee. And probably one of the best committees I served on was the Vocational Technical School Committee, where I worked with the Hampton School District and Saucon Valley School District. And I got to serve as president of that board and vice president. And I'm running for Lehigh County Commissioner for District 3, which is East Allentown, parts of South Allentown, West Bethlehem, Hanover Township, Lehigh County area, Fountain Hill, and Catasauqua. Lifelong resident of West Bethlehem. And recently, it was interesting. I was called a career politician by one of my opponents. You know, I must be the youngest career politician at 26, I gotta tell you. But you know, if serving my community and being a school board member and being active makes me a career politician, then I'm happy to be a career politician. And I want to take that experience, that fiscal responsibility, standing up for senior citizens, standing up for students, the LGBT community, the African American community, Latinos. I want to take that to county commissioners and the county government. I had the honor of sponsoring 2 landmark bills while I was on the Bethlehem School Board. 2 of those bills have been used by other government entities. The first one in Bethlehem School District was prior to the Supreme Court legalizing gay marriage, we as a school board gave medical benefits to our married same-sex couples. The second one we did was we passed, right after Allentown did, adding transgender identity and or expression to our district's non-discrimination and anti-harassment policies. And especially after what Donald Trump did last night in rolling back President Obama's pushing for Title IX to be used to allow transgender students to have more rights in schools, use the bathrooms that they identify as. I'm proud to say that Bethlehem, those students can use the bathrooms that they identify as, can be treated as equal citizens in schools, because they deserve to be. Because that's not a political issue. It should not be a political issue. It should be a human rights issue. We all deserve to be treated equally, regardless of where we come from. And as a member of county government, I will stand up for senior citizens, as well as the LGBT community, as well as small businesses, to be the voice of those who do not have a voice. That is what I did on the Bethlehem School Board. That is what I've done as a vice chair of the Bethlehem City Democratic Committee. And that's what I look forward to doing as a member of county government. Thank you.
Thank you. I had intentions of being a career politician too, but I ran into a stumbling block a couple of years ago. Self-deprecation always works. Is there any candidate in this room that we haven't addressed yet, and went out of their way to wants to have 2 minutes to say. The people that have spoken had signed up for this. So if we do have someone who wants to say a word here and is a candidate running for office, come and take your 2 minutes right now. And I'm sorry that we didn't.
Oh, Jeff Grace. Okay, that's great.
On the list there.
Who wants to hear from the incumbent county commissioner anyway? Good evening. Welcome to my neighborhood. My wife and I, Sarah, live about 2 blocks from here, and this has been one of the greatest venues that has opened shop in the last year. I'm really happy to have it in our neighborhood. Thank you to the young professionals who put this on. I know a good number of candidates here this evening already, but I met a few additional ones, and I think this is a great service to the city of Allentown, and democracy is well served as a result of this. I try and answer the question, what does county government do in the life of residents of Lehigh County? And I break it down into 3 categories. First, we fight for a strong economy, not just for strong jobs that pay living wages and support families, but also a strong moral economy that takes care of those who need to be taken care of. Lehigh County government is the safety net provider of record for most of our communities, for most of our citizens, whether that be in the realm of mental health, intellectual disabilities, children and youth services. And I think Cedarbrook has made the news more than it ever has in the last couple of years, that safety net for our aging population. We also fight for a strong democracy. I've gone on record supporting campaign finance reform for Lehigh County elections. I'm going to keep fighting for that. Last night we fought for fair redistricting in Pennsylvania. 8-1 votes across bipartisan lines that drew more than 100 people to a county government meeting. Commissioner Jones and I have served on county commission for a couple of years together. I don't think we've ever seen 100 people come into county government. And then finally, protecting the environment. The Lehigh County Conservation District helps to protect our waterways and our open spaces from runoff from development. Want to keep fighting for that and some other environmental issues. So running for another 4 years, would appreciate your support if you live in the center city in the west end of Allentown. Thank you.
Did we miss anybody here? Were you? Well, good. I'd like to thank all the candidates, of course, for coming, expressing themselves, enjoying an evening here. And again, we said this wasn't going to be a debate. And I'd like to thank all our members of our organization also for coming here and taking advantage of dealing with some of our community leaders. With that being said, those of you who are in here that want to be part of the Allentown Young Professionals, we're going to have a sign up here. You get on our, come to the front here, you get on our mailing list or Facebook, and we'll be meeting again, guys. We've determined March 16th, and we think it's, what we do is, we want to move around Allentown. We won't always have it here. We've had a couple here. I think it's important for people to get out to other places, other businesses. I don't care how good their wings are. We can out to other places and see what's going on in Allentown. Decide how you're going to get involved in being what we think is a wonderful city at a good time to get involved here. Where we think we're going to be, I think we've scheduled this for Ringer's Roost on which is out at 18th and Liberty for our next gathering. We're not sure at this point that it's going to be a political, although I like political conversation. But with that being said, I really appreciate everybody. I hope that both our professionals and the candidates had an opportunity to connect with one another here, and I think that goes a long way in creating a community that's growing. So with that being said, I'm challenging everyone to go over there and buy some wings, and you make the call on who's got the best wings. Hey man, I'm giving you a hard time. I'm just having fun. Of course, it's not the end here. If you need to get signatures, people didn't get signatures yet, please sign the petitions here. That's why our candidates are here. mingle. All you want to do, talk. If you got questions, or it's people that wanted to ask questions, of course that wasn't the format tonight, go ahead and grab a couple of these candidates and ask them their thoughts on whatever you have a question on. So I thank you everyone for coming this evening. We'll probably do this again sometime as we get closer, especially if everyone enjoyed it. It seemed like it went pretty well. So, thank you.